Hello, my name is Claudia Vandiver, and I'm running for trustee in this April's election. In this video, I would like to talk to you about three of the major problems and issues that residents have with the community of Maywood. One, the high property taxes. Two, the issue that we don't have a grocery store. And three, about the lack of small businesses in our community. I'm now at the corner of 17th and Madison. For me and my family, over the years, we've spent tons of time investing in finding properties that were distressed, renovating them, and then turning them around to make them into affordable, clean housing for the community. But just within the past year, we've seen even further decline. Over the past years, the currency exchange on this corner went out of business, and just within the last couple of weeks, one of the biggest pieces of commercial property has now become vacant, with no potential plans in the near future to go ahead and put businesses in it. At one point in time on 17th Avenue, there were businesses all up and down the street booming. Down the street, we had a State Farm insurance company, along with a lot of long-term businesses that were here indefinitely. But unfortunately, when commercial landlords lose their property, we just don't end up with a vacant building, but we end up with a loss of businesses. And if those properties aren't rehabilitated and put back on the tax roll, we end up having vacant parcels of land like this that do nothing but help to blight the area. What's the solution to the problem? The solution to the problem is we have to make people outside of our community, specifically commercial investors, understand the value of investing in our community. Understanding that these blighted buildings, somebody who has an eye can see that there's tons of potential to grow it, to be able to rehabilitate it and renovate it, to eventually put strong businesses back into our community. But if we don't have people in leadership who have a vision and an eye and the skill sets and the talents to be able to do so, then this just ends up being another situation that at the end of the day, we have businesses that leave our community and they end up taking their business elsewhere. So for all intents and purposes, we need people such as myself with years of business experience, specifically in real estate, who knows how to turn these liabilities into assets and to be able to put properties like this back on our tax roll. Over the past few months, I've had tons of conversations with residents about why Maywood doesn't have a grocery store. I've heard everything from the fact that they don't like particularly the location, they don't think that Maywood is deserving of a grocery store, but when it all breaks down to it, the reason why Maywood doesn't have a major grocery store is because investors don't see the value of investing in our community. When you go to neighboring communities like River Forest and Oak Park, the reason why they have grocery stores is because those business communities already have built-in customer base. Whereas for Maywood, we have to make our community enticing to real estate investors by developing a small business community and not so much focusing on individual businesses. But if one of the major problems that Maywood has right now is they aren't able to attract people to find the value in our properties, then that's something that we as a community need to strive to work to improve in the future. If the village were able to take that property and maybe repurpose it for the sports center that they say they want to build, then for all intents and purposes, that's another way in which properties that the village currently owns could be repurposed for functions that would benefit us as citizens, rather than to sit here and be another liability. Because for these properties, as the village, they have to maintain the lawn, they have to deal with theft and burglary, and those are out-of-pocket costs that we as residents really can't afford. Many citizens don't understand that that in and of itself is one of the contributors to why we as taxpayers have to make more. If you take, for example, the Whittles home, a 1,000+ square footage property that if it was rehabilitated or rehabbed and renovated could potentially house medical offices or other different types of businesses that could generate the village over $10,000 to $20,000 of income each month, thus further increasing the amount or decreasing the amount that we as residents would have to pay. So why should you vote for me? The reason why is because I'm a solution-oriented, problem-solving candidate. If you're interested in having somebody who has a strong business acumen, who understands the needs and the problems of our community, and who's qualified for the job, and if you want somebody who's going to be part of a very strong village board to move this community forward, I ask that you consider voting for me. If you want to learn learn more about me, you can check out my website, Vandiver, 4trustee.com. Once again, I thank you all for tuning in and vote for me. I believe I'm the best candidate for the job, and I'm willing to prove you right. Thank you.